This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. Plane skids off runway in New York. Snow strands thousands of travelers.
We are not unanimous.
Jury deadlocks again on punishment for Jody Arias.
Hello and welcome to Matador News. I am Nancy Tinajero.
And I am Jacqueline Serrano. LaGuardia Airport is still closed after a Delta airplane slid off the runway this morning. 127 passengers were on board along with 5 crew members. A couple people were hurt, but nothing serious. Flight 1086 was traveling from Atlanta to New York when it broke a fence before skidding to a stop. The New York Fire Department used lights to transfer all passengers off the aircraft. LaGuardia is expected to reopen at 7 tonight.
Thousands of travelers are stranded across huge areas of the East Coast. More than 3,800 flights have been canceled and another 1,400 delayed, meaning about 15% of all U.S. flights have been grounded. Airlines have been waiving change fees for flyers going to airports experiencing poor weather. Dallas and Fort Worth, Washington rigging national airports have the most cancellations. Also suffering are hundreds in drivers, Kentucky, and massive amounts of snow has left them stranded on highways. Schools and government offices were also closed across the region.
El Niño has finally arrived. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration issued the official advisory in its monthly outlook. El Niño is not expected to make a significant impact, but weather conditions may appear during spring along the Gulf Coast. Forecasters say there is a 50 to 60% chance El Niño will continue through summer, but they say it is too late and too weak to provide any aid to the California drought.
Matador News reporter Alicia Zerai is in the Sundial studio with coordinator for CSUN Institute for Sustainability, Sarah Johnson, to talk about their upcoming CSUN Water Day event.
Good afternoon. We are here with Sarah Johnson, the coordinator for CSUN's Institute for Sustainability. She's here to tell us more about their upcoming CSUN Water Day event this Wednesday, March 11th. So first, Sarah, can you tell us more about what the institution does to promote sustainability on the CSUN campus?
Sure. The Institute started in 2008, and our goal is basically to promote sustainability on the CSUN campus through education and research. And so one of the things that we have is a minor in sustainability. We helped get that implemented so students can now get a minor in sustainability. We also have a campus food garden and composting program, and so we try to educate students through sustainability as well as promote what other departments are doing on campus related to sustainability.
That's great. And World Water Day has been around for 22 years and will again happen this year on March 22nd. Can you tell us how CSUN's Water Day event that you're going to be planning, how this will actually promote change and prepare students for water sustainability?
So as I mentioned, one of our goals is to educate students, and so one way to do that is through hosting these campus events. And so on March 11th, we're hosting Water Day. This will be the 5th year that we're doing it, and we coordinate it with class times. So from 9:30 to 10:45, we're going to have a geography professor who's going to talk about the state of water in California, so past, present, and future, and that will be a presentation. And then 11 o'clock, we're going to have somebody from 5 Gyres, which is a nonprofit organization that works, talks about plastic pollution in the ocean. She's going to come and talk about that issue and what students can do to get involved to help with that problem of all the plastics that are polluting our ocean. And then from 12:30 to 1:45, we're going to be showing a documentary called Mulholland's Dream, which is about the history of water in California as well. And then we're going to have a panel with 3 experts that are actually CSUN professors that are going to do a Q&A with all the students in the audience. And then we're also going to have sustainability leaders on campus. So there's a club and a sustainability committee, and all of those students are going to be there. So if you want to get involved with sustainability, it's a great opportunity for students to come out and meet people and find out what's going on campus and get involved with what we're doing.
And California is now in its 4th year of a drought, and water conservation dropped over 50% this January. Can you tell us how you view water sustainability in California over the next couple years?
I mean, the fact is we don't know when we're going to be getting more rain, and so we need to focus on what we can do as individuals and as a university, and so a lot of that comes from education and conservation. So if people know the dire state that we're in, that we have no water and there's nothing we can do to control that, what we can do is work to control water through taking shorter showers and things like that.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for speaking with us this afternoon. Now back to you in the studio.
Liberia has begun its 42-day countdown to being declared Ebola-free. 58-year-old old school teacher Beatrice Yardolo was the last confirmed Ebola patient in the country. She was released from the Liberian Treatment Center after being admitted on February 18th. The Liberian people are hopeful this is the end of the deadly virus that killed more than 4,000 people in the West African country.
Convicted murderer Jory Arias' punishment is now in the hands of a judge. An Arizona jury could not reach a decision on whether or not she should be executed after deliberating for 26 hours. Arias was convicted of killing her lover in 2008. She shot her lover in the head and slashed him 30 times, nearly cutting off his head. As of now, the death penalty is no longer a possible punishment for Arias. A judge will sentence her in April, either to life or life with the possibility of getting out in 25 years.
Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, accused of helping his brother plan the Boston Marathon bombing in 2013, comes face-to-face with a survivor. It is the second day of the trial in federal court in Boston, and several survivors took the stand. Jeff Bauman, who lost both legs in the bombing, says he thought that day would be his last. He was at the finish line cheering on his fiancée when the bombings occurred. Bauman says he remembers locking eyes with Tsarnaev's older brother minutes before the bomb went off.
The parents of Ferguson teenager Michael Brown, killed by police officer Darren Wilson last summer, are now suing Wilson and the Ferguson Police Department. Wilson has always said that he feared for his life at the time of the shooting.
We feel, and we've always felt from the very beginning, that Officer Darren Wilson did not have to shoot and kill Mike Brown Jr. in broad daylight.
The decision on suing comes after yesterday's Justice Department decision not to charge Wilson on the killing of the teenager. But Attorney General Eric Holder says the Justice Department did find racism in the Ferguson Police Department.
Some CSUN students say they have been following the case.
All that, and I have seen where, like, my family has nice cars and the police will pull them over and ask them, like, where did you buy it? Let me see if it's really under your name. It was supposedly reported stolen when it's not. So it is a type of harassment that goes on.
If we have a good trial that really examines what cops can and can't do that violates civil rights, it'd be really good to have a clear understanding of what capacity they can operate in.
The Brown family's lawyers say they plan to file the civil suit soon.
U.S. Ambassador to South Korea Mark Lippert is recovering after being slashed with a razor in Seoul, South Korea. Lippert was about to deliver a lecture. The man who attacked Lippert is known as Kim Ki-jong. He's 55 years old and is a political extremist. Right before slashing, Jong reportedly yelled South and North Korea should be reunified.
And now to Lindsey Karlis with the latest in business.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Automated vehicle pilot projects will be unveiled in 6 to 10 U.S. cities this year, the first being in Tampa Bay, Florida. The vehicles are electric, rechargeable, and could cost as little as $3 a day to run. The cost to ride the driverless public transit vehicles will be 25 to 40% less than traditional buses and trains. The vehicles will use lasers to build an image of where it is, where it needs to go, and how to get there. Researchers say self-driving cars could reduce vehicle crashes by 90%, saving $200 billion a year. The cars could be on the roads in 30 U.S. cities by the end of 2016. Now we go to the newsroom with Eden Trevino.
The Department of Labor says filing for unemployment benefits has spiked in the past week, making this the highest levels we've seen in more than 9 months. Experts say weather has slowed retail sales and construction. But in more positive news, unemployment fell last year in every state for the first time in 30 years. Since December, California's unemployment rate fell 7%, and some CSUN counting students are taking notice.
California has been suffering quite bad, but we have studied that nationwide it is on the decline. So smaller states are probably experiencing more jobs than basically California, but it just seems like even though it's going down, it is still difficult to find that position, the one that you really want.
California's historical low was at 4.7% in 2001. Unemployment reached about 12.5% at the height of the recession in 2010. And now to health news with Stephanie Stanziano.
Thanks, Eden. The superbug bacteria has now been linked to 4 patients infected at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Officials have reached out to those 4 and 67 others who were exposed to an infected endoscope. The hospital will be providing those people with at-home kits for self-testing to determine if they have the infection. The contaminated endoscope has been located and is no longer in use. The hospital is also now using advanced cleaning techniques on the scopes used in their procedures. Cleaner air in the LA area has been linked to stronger lungs in children. USC scientists say the region's air is cleaner since the mid-90s and children are breathing better because of it. The Children's Health Study tracked the lung development of children from 5 of the most polluted communities in Southern California. Field teams took measurements of kids' ability to breathe as they grew from ages 11 to 15. As air quality improved, the number of children with low-functioning lungs went from about 8% in the 90s to 4% in 2011. And now back to Lindsey Karlis with entertainment news.
Thank you, Stephanie. Actor Daniel Van Bargen died this past weekend at the age of 64. He may be best known for his role as Mr. Kruger on the last season of Seinfeld. The actor reportedly battled diabetes and passed from a long illness. Van Bargen played a span of roles in his 40-year career, from Super Troopers to West Wing and Brother, Where Art Thou? He made headlines in February 2012 when he shot himself in the head in an apparent suicide attempt after learning that he needed amputation surgery. Van Bargen's last work was in 2009 in the movie London Betty. Closing arguments are expected today in the Blurred Lines case. Pharrell Williams' hit song sounds a lot like Marvin Gaye's song Gotta Give It Up, and Gaye's children are claiming that beats and chords were stolen from their late father's song without permission. Robin Thicke and T.I. share writing credits on the song and are included in the lawsuit. Pharrell described his musical process to the court, saying he saw similarities between the songs but did not consciously borrow Gaye's work. And now we go to Stephanie Stanziano with the latest in sports.
Thanks, Lindsey. Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos have come to an agreement on his contract for the upcoming 2015 season. Manning will take a $4 million pay cut to allow the team more cash to work the free agent market, leaving Manning with a $15 million base salary. This contract also includes incentives to cover the loss. $2 million will be added if the team wins the AFC championships, and another $2 million if they win the Super Bowl. All that's left is for Manning to pass the physical exam set for Thursday. This will be Manning's 18th year in the NFL since signing to the Colts in 1998. A new stadium paperwork for the San Diego Chargers and Oakland Raiders have been filed to bring voters. If approved, it would modify zoning laws in the Carson City area to allow the $1.7 billion project to be built. Organizations funded by both teams could begin collecting petition signatures as early as next week to get the plan on the ballot. They will need 8,041 signatures in the next 180 days. If approved, it would put the plan on the same level as another NFL stadium project in Inglewood, backed by the St. Louis Rams owner Stan Kroenke. That's all for sports. Now back to Jacqueline Serrano.
I am Jacqueline Serrano.
And I am Nancy Tinajero. Thank you for watching Matador News.